there is silence.
Apologies for the audio, but you can see the piece that producing the loud rattle noise in your E93, and in this video I will show you how to get that piece out and how to fix the rattle once and forever.
Ouch, that's hurt, guys. Okay guys, we finally here, 2012 M3 E93. I'm right in front of my van and all of the tools in there and everything, and you're probably suspecting what are we gonna be doing today. We're gonna be finishing the roof and we're gonna drop the front portion of the liner and we'll see what is that rattle coming from. I'll show you how to actuate the motor, which is located right under that plastic plug in there, which is not going to be that hard, but BMW tells that you have to have the special tools and some other kind of equipment. I'll show you what I mean from the pictures from the user manual, but for right now we're simply going to pop the liner down and I'll show you how to actuate those pins, which we've been adding the grease to it, and it did prevent the rattle for a little bit, I would say for a good month, but now it starts getting like bouncing back, and yeah, this is annoying. It's a lot of stuff going on in there and a lot of explanation, but let's get to the job. Let's drop the liner. Let's try to actuate that motor without actually electricity manually, and we'll go it from there.
On how to remove the headliner step by step, check the up top video or in description below or at the end of the video.
You don't have to remove the liner to basically pop out those like pins, but overall I just want to see what is going on here. Might be something is loose or whatever. So we have that electric motor with the two lines which is goes to the each side, to the each of that pin. They're basically the troughs inside, and they're a spring-loaded system which is inside of those cylinders. We're going to talk about them in a little bit as well, because I have the user manual and it's exactly showing what is going on inside. But basically, to open them up, we have to get, I think it's a 6mm thread, and you basically screwed the screw in there just a little bit and then yank it down. It's definitely not going to be hard. And then we have 8mm square, which is you can rotate clockwise, means you opening, counterclockwise you closing.
In meanwhile, we have two micro switches here. They tell in the car in which position the roof hinges. After all, be extremely careful, make sure you're rotating the pole all the way until the switch will click. In that case, you know it's open or closed all the way.
So I already see our problem and we're gonna fix it in a second. Let me just set the camera up and I'll show you how to deal with it. So as I was suspecting, there's a spring in there, and basically that grease was preventing a little bit from bouncing inside. But for right now, let's clean that grease, what I add previously. It's got a little slack in there. I'm assuming that we can add the grease inside somehow. I'll try to do that. As you can hear, this is our slack.
Unfortunately, that slack is from the plastic piece which is on the end of the sleeve. And of course, you cannot buy it separately. But don't worry, we're still gonna be able to fix it. Just keep watching.
That's the spring right here. I'm assuming that we can fish something underneath that make it a little bit, spring a little bit more. That's our rattle noise. Let's check it out the other side.
So that's definitely a bummer, but it's not quite big of a problem, because whenever there's locking pins getting inside of the rear portion of the roof, they kind of supposed to fit snug into the roller guides, so the flat metal spring is our #1 priority.
Okay guys, so we got a little bit through and I want to show you just a couple things here. So the first one, we pop down the bracket, we remove the screw from the back, which is basically holding that aluminum plate or aluminum bracket. Make sure you put the marks underneath how the bolts were positioned, because it has adjustments in it. And if we're gonna mess it up with adjustments, that guy not gonna be able to shift it inside of the middle portion of the roof, and that's gonna be a bummer. So after we remove the screw from the back, now we able to shift it down, hold the construction, and just trying to be extremely gentle with that. And there you go, we have our plastic gasket here, which is preventing from bouncing inside. The other thing is that little spring here. As you can see, we have a little bit of beading here, and I'm assuming that's where was it bouncing inside of the middle portion of the roof. So with that, we're gonna add a little bit of something. Probably gonna add the piece of plastic under that spring. We're gonna release these two bolts, slide something underneath, and that's gonna make the spring a little popping more. I'm also gonna add some lubrication inside or throughout of the perimeter here. That also going to make it a little less slack after all. These two screws are T10. Using just a regular pin tool to lever that spring up. As you can see, I have piece of plastic, which is I cut it from some like rivet package, or you can do whatever. It's really thin. It's not gonna add a lot, but I think it's gonna add just enough. So adding that underneath, and it fit perfectly nice. A little bit farther, and tightening the screws. It doesn't have to be too tight, but now it's definitely a little bit popping at this side. I'm hoping that will do the trick. I'm also gonna be adding the Mobile One synthetic grease, which can outstand the 320 Fahrenheit. So it should add just that little layer of stickiness inside. Hoping that trick will do the job after all, because the slack was inside here a little bit, and also inside of the rear portion of the roof, or the middle portion, because of that spring in there. It's got down, it's lowered a little bit, so I don't know. But from now on, we're gonna be able to adjust it without removing the liner or any of those components. Anyway, I wanted to add a little bit of grease here. In that case, everything gonna be lubricated. Moisture and all this stuff is going to be protected from any type of residues or whatever. We got to make sure everything just as it should, because that piece of plastic right here is half cut out at the top. So we got to match the spring and that cutout, because the same thing going to happen which is happened with the other side. I'm assuming so. Let me wipe the leftovers. More than sure we don't need that here. From that portion, we are ready to insulation or install the piece. But so as you can see, we have the pattern of the screws output and couple of the marks with the paint. That's what we're going to be following. Same as up at the top, we're going to try to be really precise in terms of the holes here. Oh, before anything, I almost messed it up. We have to add that screw here, which is T15. It doesn't have to be tight, because that little ring which is inside have cut out in the middle, and that piece is supposed to or have to rotate. So keep going. So all of that got through. That stuff is sliding as it should. We're gonna remove the leftovers of the grease from front and the back if we have so. And we basically done here. Repeat the process with the other side, and we're gonna be ready to start the test drive. So guys, last thing to check. I didn't install the liner yet. Just popping that little knob up and trying to close the roof, because if that spring, which is right there, is too tight, the roof wouldn't be able to close. And on the top of that, we'll see if we didn't mess up anything, because if we misalign any of those guys, the guides, we basically screwed a little, because we're gonna need to adjust them after all. And that's gonna be much easier as far as they kind of loose, because we're gonna be able to adjust them on the spot. Anyway, ouch, that's hurt, guys. Did I scratch anything? I feel, yes, this is our fresh scratch in there. Fuck glasses. I'm a stupido. I don't have anything else in there. Okay, let's try it again. So we know the mechanism is really harsh. It can break anything. It's most interesting, we didn't have any type of really harsh noises, which is good already. Then everything aligned this side as well. What do we have here? Some poo-poo. And we're kind of okay here. So guys, that's gonna be really satisfying to driving without the liner, which is also the sound barrier. I know the perfect road that car would show every single thing which is wrong with the roof. Yeah, that's gonna be experience. There is silence. Tremendous difference, a huge difference. Like, I'm speechless right now, or not really. I'm pumped because this car have a second life. The roof have no rattle whatsoever. Oh yeah. Anyway guys, I'll see you at home. I'll show you where that other squeaking noise coming from. So in terms of squeaking, this is the piece what I was talking about. This is the piece of rubber, and it's making kind of squeaking noise while it's moving. So we wanted to put the gummy flap, which is the rubber care, underneath and make sure it's just slipping, not squeaking. So that's gonna do the job just fine. In terms of installing the liner, just make sure that rubber piece here, which is basically holding the front portion of the liner gotta goes underneath. That's the only thing you gotta keep in mind. And then go to the back portion and start getting those clips up. There are like 4 of them at the back, 1 at the center, and 2 at the corner here. Anyway guys, it was pretty long video. I'll wrap it up and gonna put everything back together. Keep in mind, just you gotta put those clips or the pins, snag, and everything gonna be just fine. Anyway guys, if you like the video, please put the thumbs up button there, subscribe my channel, and leave me a comment below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.